The Milimani Law Court, specifically the Anti-Corruption Court, where Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu is already seated, ready to plead to abuse of office and tax evasion charges. Remember, yesterday she was arrested, she was questioned, she was arraigned, released on a 5 million Kenya shillings bond, and of course told to appear before the court today. She's before Chief Justice, Chief Magistrate Lawrence Mugambi, and we will take you there as soon as the proceedings begin. We have also been informed that NASA co-principal Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka is there, together with, of course, the legal team that will represent the Deputy Chief Justice. And joining me in studio to continue to look at some of the issues around this and to give us both the legal perspective and the political angle, because let's be honest, this particular matter, we're seeing a lot of politics creeping into it, and that could be quite dangerous, is Danstan Omari, an advocate of the High Court. Welcome once again, although we've chatted just before the break. So you're going to wear two hats for this discussion. There's your legal hat,
yes,
and
the political aspect.
And then the political aspect as well. Let's talk about the dangers of the political aspect creeping into this particular matter, and it already has. You should see the SMSs I'm getting. People are talking about the politics of this matter more than the legality around it.
The Deputy Chief Justice is not an ordinary lady. She faced serious challenges at the time of the presidential election. She was identified strictly politically, not legally, to be a NASA follower and sympathizer. Her hard-hitting
allegations,
her hard-hitting statements during the trial were perceived to be loyal to NASA. Now, when she has been charged, you've seen Kalonzo, you've seen the Kamba Nation rallying behind their daughter. Compare the rallying of people around her as the rallying of the Kamba Nation to the Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs. She held a homecoming party, nobody attended. Today we are going to see...
We've also seen the likes of Dr. Evans Kidero being arraigned in court.
Nobody attended.
Nobody attended.
So the question now that is going to happen is that if Mwilu was shot at, her driver was shot at, Mwilu survived. Mwilu is the first one to take a plea. She is taking a plea on behalf of whom? The architect of the handshake, Raila Odinga. So people are going to demand,
what do you mean by that?
The public, the political angle will demand that Raila Odinga must stand firm with the Mwilu. Kalonzo has come.
That's a strong signal. Although we don't know what he hasn't spoken.
He has not spoken. The fact that he's
just
there.
Be an observer.
Are we likely to see the governors like Charity Ngilu mobilize the Kamba Nation to come and demonstrate, give support to their daughter? So this to me marks the end of the fight on corruption. It has taken a political angle.
A fight that
the
began 4 months ago,
DPP was not strategic. The DPP was not strategic. Had they consulted, they acted legally. Legally, everything is perfect. You've seen in his statement, he's trying to fight or rid a perception that he is acting independently. He is already aware that people are seeing the selectivity of the prosecution. And once it has taken that political terrain, two, I have been part of the defense team of quite a number from NYS won all these matters. Quite a number. When the first governor was arrested, let me tell you, when the first governor for Busia was arrested, all the members of parliament and the senators said, let the governors be arrested. When the tide changed and now members of parliament are being arrested for CDF, there is quietness. The Orengos who are saying, let the people be arrested, Orengo is the one now defending the Deputy DCJ. So the question is, people are saying, after chako cha mwenzako kikinyolewa, chako tia maji. So that notion is likely now going to tilt. And the issues that are going to come, I've heard the political class are saying, look, suppose, let me be an advocate, devil's advocate. The removal of the DPP.
You're already an advocate, so now you want to be
I'm now the devil's advocate, not the really advocate. The removal of the DPP, who he has a constitutional office, is anchored in Article 168.
DCJ.
The DPP. I'm talking of the DPP.
The removal
of the DPP.
Of the DPP, okay.
Will be provided for under Article 168. A petition filed, the parliament receives it, decides it, and the DPP has a job. The same provision deals with the DCJ. So I'm likely to see the political class gang up to remove the DPP from office. by a simple majority parliamentary vote.
Because of some of the actions we've seen over the last 24 hours.
Wenzako wameona wenzao wakinyolewa.
Okay.
All the political class is paranoid. The political class is paranoid. They are seeing one after one being arrested. One after one being arrested. PLO Lumumba trained his guns on the political class. What did they do? They amended the law. They removed the office at midnight. That is the political angle to this matter. That the political class worldwide has never lost a battle. The political class,
they might lose small wars, but
might lose wars, but they never lose the battle. This now is the defining moment. So unless the DPP navigates in a manner that appeases the political class, he was vetted by the same political class. Suppose somebody, a pedestrian, moves to parliament with a fictitious petition. Unlike the JSC that initiates movements to remove the judges, the DPP is vulnerable. Is that a petition goes to parliament? Is parliament speaking with one voice? There was the time parliament was speaking in two tongues, Jubilee and NASA.
Yes.
Now they joined in the handshake.
United.
A new tower of Babel has been broken by the DCJ. So there is going to have a common purpose that, look, you guys, we better remove this DPP or else all of us are going to commit.
Okay. But we need to let our viewers know that that's Danstan Omari's
That is
theory.
my views.
Those are not the views of Daybreak.
No.
That's your theory right there. Okay, so I'm told we have a sound bite, and obviously the big issue has been around the revisiting.
Yes.
Is this the revisiting? Let's listen to what President Uhuru Kenyatta had to say after the annulment of the presidential election last year. Okay, all right. I beg your pardon. It's still President Uhuru Kenyatta, but in an exclusive interview that he accorded to Jackie Maribe in Washington, D.C. immediately after his meeting with American President Donald Trump, when she raised various questions to him. Let's listen to what he had to say.
There is tremendous commitment, I think, now from the agencies that have been involved in this work. In that end also, we appreciate especially the support that we've gotten from the United States in terms both of capacity building and training and involvement of their officers from the FBI to other agencies who we've been working closely together with. And we believe now we have an institutional framework that will be able to deliver strong results. The political commitment is there. The will of the people of Kenya is committed to see an end to corruption. And I believe that this time we shall succeed in our endeavors.
All right, I beg your pardon for that. President Uhuru Kenyatta definitely being interviewed there by a VOA News reporter. And of course, speaking about the war against corruption. And he's raised some interesting points, Danstan. Let me get your views on what he had to say. He's speaking a day or two before the activities that are now begun in the country. Was he sending a message that there's a lot more that's going to be happening moving forward that might shock Kenyans?
The president is very clear. He has nothing to lose. He'll arrest everybody. He'll take everybody to court.
Everybody?
Everybody. Let me tell you,
that's been the question.
The president has never involved himself in business all his life. He has only earned salary as a minister, as a cabinet secretary, and as a president. Him, during the ICC trials, it was very clear the president owns nothing. The president was very clear. He is a beneficiary of the family business. So you cannot nail any iota of corruption to the president. He comes as Mr. Clean. So he is now saying, get all the money stashed abroad. So the president is very clear. The challenge is one, the people he is using to arrest others, are they themselves not fit for arrest? Are the investigators not likely to be the hunted? Are the hunters not going to be the hunted? Are the convictors? Justice Mwilu was a convictor. She is now being convicted. The tide is changing. When the president talks, there he is alone. The people he is relying on, who can throw the first stone?
That's an interesting question.
That's the question. The president might be a lone ranger. In a reality he does not understand. The president might be a prisoner of his success. He's living there, imagining that the people around him are ready to arrest their cohorts. So the question that is going to be, and within a very short time, once the threat on public servants becomes real, the president might be a lone ranger. And that's what I'm saying. Within a very short time, we are likely to see realignments in the political Jubilee party, realignments in all over. As I've said, it might be very futile to achieve the success. But the only issue that is of great interest to me is that the president is working with 99% of the public.
Can he keep the momentum up for the next four
The public is with the president.
We've seen the demolitions, 2 weeks of a lot of action.
Yes.
And now the so-called green sunny is very silent.
It is, the petrol got finished.
So
The diesel got finished. That is the reality. That's what I've said. Every attempt by the president, systems worldwide take millions of years to develop. They are not overhauled in a day. They take a gradual movement. Even when you get people who are living in prison for 10 years, they've never taken alcohol. When they go home, if they are given drugs or alcohol, they take bits by bits. Doctors give you dose by dose. They don't give you the full dose. What the president and his handlers are doing, they have opened up several war fronts at the judiciary, at the parliament, at the governor's position, at the executive, at the civil service, at the media, at the private sector. So that is likely to bring people together to fight together a common goal. And that is why I've said the strategy on how to deal with corruption has been gotten wrong. They could have narrowed slowly by slowly, one after another. And two,
Kenyans are paying for blood.
Kenyans are being
They say that, I mean, the strategy that you're saying, and fair enough, you have
Yes.
a fair point, but Kenyans have said they've waited for too long.
99% of Kenyans are with the president. But do they have the muscle to support the president to achieve the success? One, the fight against corruption is not taking place. The fight against corruption is conviction. We have seen so many people taking place. Have we seen any conviction? That's the only issue. Until the conviction is attained. And the only way the president could have been assured that Kenyans could have been assured of conviction is if the guns of the DCI were not targeting the judicial officers. That's what I'm saying. If you have...
Okay, just say that again.
Today, the only person who can tell Kenyans that Omari is guilty of corruption is a judicial officer. The judicial officers are being arrested. Will they have the moral authority? Will they rally behind one of their own? I'll tell you.
Could this not cause...
All the judicial officers who have ever been arrested in this country, none has ever been convicted. They are brothers. They are sisters. Mark that. All of them. None has ever been convicted. So are we likely to see a conveyor belt take them to court and the judicial officers acquit? Remember, the threshold for conviction is sufficient evidence. There is no threshold like this full glass. It is according to the judicial officer what he thinks is sufficient. Will they acquit all these people and say the evidence produced is not enough? Will it not be a cropper? And that is why I said strategically, we might be a country that arrests, takes them to court, tries, and acquits them. Kenyans want conviction.
That's what's going to
the arrest of the DCJ has put that question of conviction at a great risk. You saw the statement of the DPP.
Some would say that, and again, these are allegations made against her, and we'll have to see what will happen towards the very end, but some would say that other judicial officers will begin to see that they are not above the law. That this could actually come out sort of in a positive manner, and that when a judge sits today to hear a matter, at the back of their minds, they'll know, I need to follow due process. Could it not come out that way? Could that not be the end result?
It can also be an incentive, for those ones who are sitting to preside over matters fairly. But remember, these people have their past. Mwilu is being charged of offenses of 2013. There is no limit to criminal law. There's no limit to criminal law. The DCI can open up files of 30, 40 years ago. Why all these people clearly clean? Here we are in a situation where we are looking at issues in a practical aspect. Legally, they are supposed to uphold the rule of law. Morally, they are supposed to be part and parcel of a team. That is all issue. So, to me, some decisions judicial officers make are independent. But the president has the goodwill of every Kenyan. But once that 99% of the Kenyans start realizing that one of their village men has been hit, one of their village girl has been hit, it will start dissipating. This is a political nation. I wish they looked at this matter politically and legally. Legally, as I'm speaking as an advocate, no Kenyan wants his money that is paid as tax to be pilfered. Everybody wants his money protected.
Because they've worked hard for it.
But I've learned the Kenyans, that is talk show. We are people who talk. We are people who talk. We are people who hide in public talk shows. The reality, the genetic makeup of Kenyans is totally strange in the whole world. I'm telling you.
It's been called peculiar. What do we expect to see? And we've been trying to bring you some live images now from that courtroom. What do we expect to see in terms of the process today? Do you expect to see a lengthy one, a brief one? I mean, what we saw yesterday was peculiar. Mwilu was presented before that court in the afternoon, evening. Even the chief magistrate there raised questions like, why is this happening at this time? Could this not have been handled in the morning? So in terms of a program, and I know Kenyans are not very familiar, we've seen NYS2, etc. What can we expect to see?
We are likely to see, one, if at all she will take a plea.
Okay.
I'm suspecting her lawyers are probably at the Constitutional Court. I'm suspecting. They might be filing a petition.
What might they have in that petition?
They will be stopping her taking the plea. Until the constitutionality of the charges is determined.
Okay.
There's a likelihood...
Because she has security of tenure?
She has security of tenure.
Okay.
The issue about tax, I've said that element of tax is not a criminal question. If the advocates rush to the High Court to stop, to defer. And
of course, you're not the magistrate in this matter. That's your...
That's what I'm saying. As lawyers, we request and provide the basis of our application.
Okay.
The court will make a decision.
Okay.
So the lawyers have two options. Either to object her taking the plea.
Okay.
And say she's unwell, she cannot take the plea.
For one reason or the other.
Defer the plea. She will come to take the plea on Monday. As they pursue the Constitutional Court and the Judicial Review Division, that could be the first approach they will do to buy time. Two, if that is both, the political activities outside the courts will start working up in a view to forestall her taking the plea. That could be a strategy.
When you say political activities, you mean press conferences?
Yes, and demonstrations and placards and all those issues, so that pressure comes in. You remember what happened at the ICC when the president and the DPP were there. The political issues outside the courts must listen to that. Two, if the situation goes the way it is, she'll be charged. The charge sheet will be read. She'll plead guilty or deny. If she pleads guilty, particulars will be read and she'll be convicted and be sentenced. If she does not plead guilty, the question is, will the DPP object to her being released on bail? All the matters we have been, the DPP always objects and calls these are flightless, they will disappear, so deny bail. Arguments will be on whether to admit her to bail or not to bail. Strangely, the courts have been taking 2 to 3 days to make that decision. Kenyans are waiting to see, will that decision be made on the spot? Kenyans are waiting to see whether everybody is equal before the law. After that has been determined, the case will go to the pre-trial stage. Then dates will be taken. After that, the full trial starts. So today, what I'm suspecting in court, we are likely to see more drama. This is already 9 something. Courts start at 9. The pleas have not started. The drama behind. Two,
there's a lot happening behind the scenes.
What magistrate is going to take that plea? Is it likely that the magistrates will recuse themselves and say, I cannot take a plea of my employer? That is one scenario.
Who I have to, in the afternoon, once...
she'll be calling me.
Okay, no, I mean, hypothetically, not that we know that she will.
No, but she's in office. The procedure of her being removed, and that is a nightmare, the constitutional nightmare in this matter.
Of removing a sitting judge.
Yes.
Especially of the caliber of the...
And you've heard very many of them saying the DCI could have given the JSC these instructions, then she's vacated office. But she does not enjoy any immunity. It is only the president who enjoys immunity from criminal prosecution until his term is over. So those are the issues to be ventilated today. The deputy CJ is a very senior advocate, 32 years of practice. She has the best legal brains behind her, both from her colleagues who will not appear in court, but who will give the moral and legal advice. She has the best senior council of lawyers. You have seen a battery of the lawyers. So the battle is, does the DPP have that legal muscle to battle with these people who are coming? Very many of them are coming not to be paid, but to prove a point. So we are likely to see serious legal issues before she takes up.
My goodness. Okay, shortly I'll be giving you a profile of Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, just to take you back to sort of her career, where she's worked and so forth. I want to get to that in just a bit. We expect to see a statement from Chief Justice Maraga. Is that wise? Or is it better to just keep quiet?
The moment she was arraigned in court, the Chief Justice's mouth was gagged. There's the law of sub judice.
Anything he says will be interpreted.
It will be that he has interfered with the judicial process.
Okay.
And also, that's what I'm saying. The moment she takes a plea, the JSC cannot start removing her. That is the rule of sub judice. She will continue serving, waiting for the determination of the criminal matter.
Before JSC
yes, it cannot move.
And of course, there's the issue of quorum with JSC.
There's no JSC. Remember now,
for you, there's no
the 4 JSC commissioners have not been sworn in. The ones that the Professor Mugenda and group have not been sworn in. The other one, Justice Wasame, has never been gazetted. So there are 5 JSC members missing.
Out of a potential 11.
The 6th one is taking a plea today. So 6 JSC members are out. The AG has never sat in that JSC. So the remaining members of the JSC are the 2 Law Society of Kenya members, that is the Deshe and Professor Jenda, the Chief Justice, the one representing the High Court, Justice Mchelule, the one representing the magistrate, Justice Magistrate Ominde. That is the composition.
That's the composition right now.
For now, with this one leaving, there is no quorum. So JSC cannot sit. There is a total limbo of the judiciary.
For those who may have concerns, and briefly tell me this, about a transition in the Supreme Court, do they have anything to be worried about?
Already,
some of my commentators previously said, no, that's speculation, too far in the future.
Already people have taken that this is succession wars on who should take over the
From
CJ.
Chief Justice, Maraga.
Are you getting the point?
Yes.
Already there is that angle that has come in. As I said, the thing is building to be a serious animal that nobody is going to contain. There is the succession issues of who is the next DCJ. There is the issue about why women are being targeted. The gender question.
I've actually seen
you've already
going
people
online.
saying this is an issue. Men don't want women to rise to be the CJ. Every other time there's a woman coming up, she's brought out. The gender question. The ethnic question. The lawyer being arrested, Malufi, works for the former CJ Mutunga. Are we likely to see the former CJ Mutunga also being dragged to court? It is going to be murky. The way politicians and politics looks at issues is not based on any known principle of law. And that is why I fear, had they looked at all these issues, they could have taken a better, sober approach.